Hello and welcome to Lesson 5, Estimating Project Costs with a Focus on Markup. Yes, the markup on an estimate. And today we're going to talk about job site indirect costs, home office overhead costs, as well as other items that you might want to include in your bottom line, such as payment and performance bonds, perhaps contingency, and a few other items. So we'll talk about that as well as some real world stories about how do you figure weather in an estimate. The other item that we're going to talk about is bidding a job without profit. Would you ever do that? Maybe. We'll find out why. And let's get started. Thank you. The topics in this lesson include indirect job site overhead costs, home office overhead costs, profit, and overhead and profit conclusions. So let's continue. In the CSI master format, Division 1 is general requirements. This line item is also called project overhead. It picks up the costs associated with operating the job site and some home office expenses. Job site costs include the field office people, safety, security, photography, and cleanup. These costs are typically itemized with quantities and unit prices figured exactly. Project overhead or job site indirect cost checklists include staffing, superintendent, project manager, office and field engineers, administrative staff, safety, quality control personnel, and security. Travel. That includes local travel, parking, and distance travel, for example, to manufacturing plants and other locations around the country where you need to find out about productivity in manufacturing. Engineering and testing. This includes site layout, surveying, scheduling, inspection, progress photography, and videos. Testing, geotechnical testing included, materials and structural testing as well. Then we come to equipment, and that includes cranes. Is it a tower crane? Is it a mobile crane? Lifts, personnel and material lifts, elevators, trucks, elevators, as I mentioned, and hoists, scaffolding, forklifts, generators, equipment maintenance, pumping, especially dewatering, temporary structures, small power equipment and hand tools, and personnel protection gear for safety's sake. Then we come to costs associated with field offices, the job office, the owner and architect's office, security station, furniture, equipment and supplies, shop facilities, sanitary facilities, phones and data, heat, power, and water, that is temporary heat, power, and water, storage areas, laydown, and sheds. Weather and environmental protection, temporary heat and protection, snow removal, thawing materials, insulation blankets, dust control, noise control, water runoff collection, dewatering, similar to what I mentioned earlier, daily cleanup and final cleanup. And then we come to site access. Do we need any temporary roads, site signs, fences, stairs, ladders, floors, security cameras, webcams, and locks, wheel washing stations, especially at the entrance and exit of all locations on the job site. And finally, we come to costs of insurance, bonds, permits, and taxes. The builder's risk insurance, who's getting that? General liability insurance, umbrella insurance, unemployment insurance and social security, vehicle insurance, performance bond, payment bond, warranty bond, sales tax, property tax, gross receipts tax, the building permits, who's getting the building permits, the contractor or the owner, and any other permits.
Hi, I hope you're enjoying this free lesson from the University of Maryland's Project Management Center for Excellence. If you want to check out more lessons just like this one, click the link in the description below where you'll be able to go to our website on executive project management. There, you can find edX courses, professional short courses where you can learn from an instructor like me, as well as request custom team training for you and your organization. All right, let's get back to the lesson and I'll see you at the end.
Next, we come to the home office overhead costs. One of the line items on this summary is for main office expenses, sometimes referred to as the home office expense overhead. This is usually carried as a percentage and includes costs such as office rent or real estate costs, vehicles, engineering support, clerical staff, top management salaries, executive salaries, marketing, legal, and accounting fees. These are a percentage of the job site and the job project costs as a relation to overall company expenses that must be included to pay for the company overhead costs. Now let's talk about profit. A company grows and maintains its corporate health through its ability to make a profit. Investment of time and energy and acceptance of risk is inherent in a construction project and makes inclusion of profit more critical. Profit is added after the contractor has priced labor, material, and equipment involved, including indirect job site costs. General requirements. If no profit were added, business might stay afloat for some time but would not grow. Companies would also have no financial tolerance for mistakes. Eventually, a company without adequate profit would not survive. And finally, the amount of profit added is a factor of the type of project, its size, amount of competition, desire to get jobs and get work, and the extent of risks. If the company needs work and is faced with substantial completion or has a strong desire to move into a new relationship with a client, the profit charged might be small. However, the company should not have too many small margin jobs on the books at the same time so that it has sufficient coverage if something occurs on one job. Finally, a project with a high risk factor or one with little competition allows a company to add a higher profit. Next comes some overhead and profit conclusions. This module has discussed why estimates are prepared and how and by whom they are used. An estimate is not static, but evolves with the project. It's dynamic. When used properly, it provides the owner with more value. Because little information is available at this stage, they are only able to provide a rough idea about the project's cost. As the design evolves and more information is available, the estimate becomes progressively more accurate. During design, the estimate can be used to evaluate systems and products and is an integral part of the value engineering process. Now let's say a few words about bidding a project without profit. This was a real live situation. This company that I worked for went for a project. We bid the project, but we really needed work. We were really hungry for work, and we decided we wanted to be aggressive in our bid, and we actually bid the job with very little profit. Turns out we were very efficient on productivity on the project and did well on markups on change orders and actually got a profit at the end of the day, at the end of the job. So be very careful. That profit markup is really a reflection of a business decision that needs to be included and reflected when bidding a project. And finally, weather. Let's say a few words about weather. I knew a company that went after a project. It was during the hurricane season, but the contractor decided to include a tremendous amount of rain days, and lost days in its schedule. The owner wanted the contractors to submit a bid for cost and schedule. Turned out this contractor had so much time in there for potential unusual rain conditions that they lost the job because the schedule was too long. When you bid a job, you should bid it and schedule it based on normal weather conditions. If you encounter unusually severe weather conditions, generally, with the proper backup, you can justify a time extension for weather. So it was a good lesson learned. Don't put unusual weather conditions into your baseline schedule.
Hey there, did you enjoy that lesson as much as I did? If you did, go ahead and give us a like. If you want to see another one, go ahead and subscribe. And if you have any questions or comments, put them below and we'll get back to you as soon as we can. Moreover, is there somebody in your life who really needs this lesson right now? If so, go ahead and share it with them. I'm sure they'll appreciate it. Now, we look forward to seeing you in the next lesson where you can learn even more from the University of Maryland Project Management Center for Excellence. Thanks so much.